Aotearoa, also known as New Zealand. Isle of Wight. I knew UK, but I didn't remember Isle of Wight, Val. Yes. And hello to California, Gina in California, and Eddie in the UK. Traveled all over the world. Soon to Central America. Nice. Hi, Lisa, in New York and born in the Bronx and Mount Tremper now. And Whitney, hi from the lands of Durango. Grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. Allison from UK. Last time you tuned in from Hawaii. Cher, oh, it's running very fast. Cher from Vermont, Port Townsend, Washington, Shira, Starfire. Gigi from Oregon Coast. Lands of Takalema and Shasta peoples in Oregon right now. Shalom Yael from Alaska, originally from Israel. Victoria from Vancouver, Washington, born in Texas. And Tasha in West Hollywood, California. I'm sitting in Northern California, originally from Israel via birthplace in Romania. Anyone else would like to type their location? Donna Maria from Dublin, Ireland. Hello, hello. All right, one more moment and we'll pass on the baton to Yael. Okay, if you are still typing, we will continue to see your messages. Oh, Brigitte, wow, that went fast. From Brigitte in Melbourne, Adelaide now, and Gaxley, Gilax. I don't know that I'm saying it correctly, in British Columbia, and Sally in Zimbabwe, who was born in Zimbabwe, lives in UK now. Welcome one and all. Increase the volume. I can increase the volume, but I think you need to increase it on your end as well. So I don't want it to be too loud, but I've increased it. Is that better? Can I see a thumbs up? Is that better? Excellent, wonderful. All right, so Yael, over to you.
Thank you, Deanna, and thank you to everyone who's joining us in co-creating this. We are doing these circles because we feel another way of communicating is very much needed during these times of conflicts with our other selves, human, other species, Mother Earth, in ourselves often. And so I live in Alaska with a native man who's an indigenous traditional messenger of his people, the Unangan people or Aleut people of Alaska. And according to their understanding, during these times, we need women to come together in true sisterhood, connect to the womb inside us and around us. And then collectively, ceremonially put that energy beyond ourselves so that great healing can begin, so that something truly new may be formed in us and possibly beyond. And so we found that when women hold these talking circles, as they are called in the indigenous traditions, even though we are broadcasting them, and in the traditions they are confidential, we are broadcasting them so that more people can have access to that way of communicating. But we are, except for that, hold the guidelines that were given to us by our Yupik elder here in Alaska, Rita Blumenstein. And we found that when women come together and help create or co-create these circles, then a sacred energetic container like a womb is formed for everything that the elders were saying about women coming together in true sisterhood to be happening. And so the way we are holding this is with the energy of the feminine and with the depth of the womb. And we ask to listen, to help us hold very deep listening, as deep as the womb. And so here are the guidelines of the circles. So the first thing to do is the host will set the guidelines, just like a host sets the table when you come to a meal, even if it's a house that you know and you know where all the dishes are. And so the circle does the talking. We are doing the listening. When the words are coming, they are coming through the person speaking, which is why we have asked specific speakers who we found can do that, can let the circle speak through them, not from them, not for them, but through them. We ask you when words are coming to you, even to put in the chat box, to feel from your belly that the words are hatching through you and not something that you thought about, planned, want to bring because you have an agenda. We are asking to be free of agendas and judgment, from planning and arguing. We are asking to listen with the innocence of a child hearing something for the first time, before there's an opinion, when there's just the story taken in, and allow a story to be there alongside a story, truth by truth, like dishes in a potluck. And then we can each come with our unique plate and palette and take what nourishes us, sometimes just a piece of an offering, combined with another tiny piece from another offering, without pushing something away that may nourish someone else, but to expand and have the whole table in your heart. We ask to be respectful of yourself, of other selves, here in the circle and beyond, of time and attention that are limited. When you share words, we ask not to interfere with anyone's words or truth or sacred path. So no cross-talking, and we ask to share words from the heart, not from the mind or again from agendas, but let the words come through you for the circle. Let the silences also come through you for the circle, for you, for your other self. And let things ripen, let the moment ripen, let the words ripen. Sometimes they won't, sometimes we will just be silent. And that is also, you will see a lot is happening between words and a lot is happening in silences if we let go, which is one of the themes of this circle. We're going to, hopefully our wisdom keepers will help us to start looking at a different way about letting go. And some of the things will not nourish you. We ask, or not necessarily in the first moment, or may even feel uncomfortable. We ask to expand and make room for other truth. Let them reside in you for a while and see if they need to stay or if they need to let go of you and you of them. Sometimes, like in a pregnancy, from a drop of an other self, something completely new can be formed in us. And it might feel uncomfortable, like pregnancy is often uncomfortable. But then something truly new can begin to exist in us and around us. And the last thing is if anyone would like to suggest some changes, because we need to co-create this together. It's not a one-person thing or a one-person way. So if someone has something that they want to change or add, please put it in a chat box now. We will give a few seconds for that. Thank you. And with that, Catherine, may I ask you to open our space with an opening blessing?
Kia ora, good morning, good day, good evening, good night from wherever you may be. The topic we're talking about is partly to do with, surrender, as Yael said, and also go for it. And that to me implies creation. So I feel like I'll do an invocation, which is a remembering of the story of creation from our people's worldview. So just inviting you to imagine creation as it's likened to a seed that breaks through and starts sprouting, and like a vine, it has a consciousness that is seeking and expanding and expanding. And that's one of the images, one of the narratives of our people of how the universe actually began, like a vine that crept out and expanded and sought creation. Ko te pute more te weo te aka te rea. Ko te wau nui te kune te pe te kore te po. Ki ngā tangata marina rangi rawa ko papa. Ko tēnei te timatanga o te ao. Ko tēnei te timatanga o te ao. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you, Catherine. And with that, to connect us to our womb, Diana, if you can help us, take us there.
Yes, I want to check that you can hear me because there were some questions. So thumbs up again. Can you hear me? All right, excellent. So let's kindle the flame as we always do, inside or outside of us, or both. So inviting us to tune into the flame within and the flame in front of you if you have one. And let's close our eyes and breathe together, placing one palm on our womb and one palm on our heart. If your womb has been etherically or surgically removed, you have an etheric womb. So I invite you to own that energetic womb in your body. And if you're don't have a womb in your body in this life, inviting to keep both hands on your heart. And let's breathe together. And as we look at the womb as a cauldron of possibility, the place that will conceive and nurture and grow more than human life, ideas, inspiration, projects, initiatives, action. We have a tendency to go for it. However, the womb has a teaching of surrender. We can want to go for it right now, but for a human life, it takes 9 months. Or anything other than a human life that we might grow in our womb. Who knows how long or how short? Can we surrender to the initiatives that we want to birth forth in an unknown length of time, in an unknown outcome. When we conceive and grow a child in our womb, we don't know the child and who it would be. When we conceive anything other than a human life, it can take so many forms. That which we wanted to go for in our minds is only one possibility. We are called by our womb to let go of that which we want to go for and be open, surrender to all possibilities, to all outcomes. This includes not birthing what we wanted to birth or birthing something else. It includes it taking much different time than we imagined or wanted to. It includes being surprised and not in control. Let's take a moment to breathe out the need to control outcomes in our lives. Can we allow the outcome to be not something we plan or foresee or have control over? Can we allow the outcome to be what it will? And for us to be at awe at whatever arrives and accepting it in delight, not because that's what we planned, but that's what is. Let's take a moment to contemplate something which is in our life and the ability to accept it more fully in this moment, exactly the way it is. Not trying to change it or tweak it. Not trying to do anything except for accepting. And notice, is this difficult or easy? And however it is for you on the spectrum between difficult and ease, that's what is for you right now, accepting this as well. And thanking our womb for its teachings, for its mystery, for its gifts of unknown nature. Thanking our heart for its dependability and its continual pulse with the earth and the universe. Thanking ourselves for being here, open, receptive, present, right now. And slowly beginning to return, keeping our eyes closed, returning our awareness to the room where we sit or the environment where we are. Remembering we're part of a worldwide pattern of flowery humans that are gathered together in community. beginning to sense our feet on the ground, our sit bones on the chair, our breath expanding and contracting, our posture, imagining what would be the first thing we will see when we open our eyes. Wiggling our toes, wiggling our fingers, stretching, bringing more awareness to our physicality. And when we are fully here, in our consciousness, in our body, in this moment, allowing our eyes to gently open. Welcome back.
Thank you, Diana. תודה רבה. And we would like our wisdom keepers to help us. And you will see that some of the things that are going to be said are things that you also are thinking about or suddenly feeling. And we are asking to look today at the concepts of go for versus or and or let go. Go for and let go. What's between surrender and victory? Is it a spectrum? Are they opposite? What is their relationship? What is your relationship with them? What are they to you? Which would you choose and when? And so, Vav, will you start us off, our Celtic wisdom keeper, please?
I'm honored. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Deanna. And as always, thank you, Yael. There are many, many paths to enlightenment, but there are no signposts and there are no markers for us to follow to find true love, pure love, that magic that we all chase. I've had several experiences this week that have just made me stop. And although I've been doing this work for a very, very long time, I think it's very easy to forget what we know. And it's very easy to ignore what we know in our hearts. Some time ago, I was asked to do the funeral rites for a very elderly lady who was a friend of mine. And this lady was a channeler. She channeled, which is a thing that I've never really gotten into. Not the way I work at all. But my friend asked if I would come and meet with her before she died. She was very elderly, and that she really would love to speak to me about the work that she does with the energy that she channels. I was very skeptical, I have to say, and I went to visit this lady who, when I walked into the room, she glowed with an inner light that I haven't seen in a human. I was amazed and sat and chatted to her until she asked if I would like to meet the person that she channeled. And I said, no. And she was a bit insulted. And she said, why not? I said, because I don't know who he is. And she said, but he knows you. And I said, I don't care. I don't know him, ever the skeptic. Anyway, we grew to respect one another, and I did her funeral rites not that long ago, about 9 months ago. And the mutual friend contacted me last week and said, Maggie has left a lot of journals, and she would like you to come and look at these journals because she really feels that the information that's here needs to go out into the world. And I thought, oh, this is not my role, this is not my path. And I promised I would go because I like the mutual friend. And when I went, she presented me with a summary that this elderly lady had written. And this summary covered all the channelings that she had done between 1970 and up until the present time, really. There were 7 huge volumes of notes and 2 summary books. And she wanted this made into a book. And she said, you're the person to help with this. And I thought, no, this is not my thing. She said, please take the summaries and read them. And I have to say, I expected to see a lot of egotistical ramblings of an eccentric lady. And when I started to read this work, I was really moved, almost moved to tears. Her work goes with the Christus. She has walked into the light, and she really, really, truly was respected and understood by the higher dominions. And I thought, this writing isn't really my thing. So I did what I always do, and I went to sit in nature, sit in the garden, sit in my copse. And as I sat quietly, a dragonfly flew down and it bounced off my forehead and landed on the table in front of me. And it didn't move, it just stayed there. And I thought, oh, wonder if it's hurt itself. I just watched it for a minute. And then it flew up and it hit me again on the forehead and landed on the table. Then it flew onto my arm and then it flew away. I thought, oh, that was a bit interesting. I know the energies of dragonfly. That's a bit interesting. And I worked in my garden for the rest of the day. And as I was finishing things off for the evening, a white barn owl that nests in the copse at the bottom of my land. There's male and female, they have young. And the female, who's quite large, she flew out and she flew round my garden. She flew round me again and she landed on the fence post in front of me. And she turned and she gazed at me with the most knowing gaze. And I thought, somebody's trying to tell me something here. When am I going to be still and listen and accept surrender, as you say, or surrender to what might be mine to do? And so I took the journals and I brought them home, and they came in a box. And when I opened this box, not only were there the 2 journals there, but there was a huge, huge crystal that had been given to me by this lady. And she said, had left a message saying, I knew you would do it, but it would take a bit of persuasion. I hope the world has persuaded you. So I think the world certainly did persuade me. I think my connection with nature is my wake-up call. And I think if we're still, and I think if we take time to tune into our own belief systems, and all of us will find our own enlightenment in different ways. And I don't think that's the important path that you take. I think it's the fact that you're on the path that's important. And we'll always come across points in time where you stumble and fall. And you may stumble and fall and think, this is not the path I'm supposed to be on. But we always get up. We get up again. And each time we fall down, we get up and we reassess where we're at. So I think if we take time to reassess where we want to be and be still enough to look for the signals and the signs, although these signposts aren't obvious, they are there, but it's a case of being still enough to listen and being open enough to listen. And it may be that we're just called to be still and not move for a while. Or it may be that we get the urge by getting hit in the forehead with a dragonfly or something else that says, get on, just do this. This is your job. This is yours to do. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Vav. Thank you for reminding us to trust. And what hit me with your story is also release the judgment of I'm supposed to do, or that's not my thing, or that is my thing. It's like sometimes we don't even know. And I never thought I'd be doing this kind of circles. Had you told me, I don't know, 10 years ago that I would be doing this, I'm like, nah. And here we are. So yeah, and during these times, I was talking this week to several friends in different circles, and we are called to do so many things. There's so much happening, and there's such kind of urgency, and you're needed in a zillion places, and we can't be all that. And as Vav reminded us, sometimes, yeah, to just know yourself and then be open to what needs to come to you and through you. So thank you for those reminders. And with that, Celine, can you take us to whatever is coming through you? Is Celine here? She's joining from Peru. I don't know if she's still with us. I think we lost her for now. So again, letting go of plans. There were other elders that were supposed to be with us, and some of them are traveling and some of them are sick, and I want to send a lot of healing to many people now are struggling with health and different issues, and may we let go. Often diseases are the body's way of actually helping us to stay still and let go of what we don't need to do and tap into ourselves. So let this be a healing time. And Catherine, can I ask you to take us to what comes through you, please?
Kia ora. So the idea of going for it, for us, a simple idea might be simply to do something. You take some action. Our word for that is mahi. One of our words for that is mahi. Today, it's kind of many of our words have taken on a very superficial meaning. You know, we speak our Māori language, and it's lost its real power. We've taken it for granted, possibly, is what's going on there. So this word mahi, meaning work, often we say, oh, we're just going to work. We're going to employment. We're going to our job or whatever. But it actually has a very different, deeper meaning. And again, when you look at the word and you break it down, you see there's many words inside the word. It's fractal. It's lovely. So we've heard many times I speak about ma. It's a very potent word, eh? Ma means clarity. It's got the ah vibration in there of ah connected with ra, the sun, light, enlightenment. And it also has he. And the word he, I might have mentioned, references hihiri, which is this energy in the universe. It's ubiquitous throughout the universe. It's like a fundamental constant cosmic energy. Actually, it's the basis of all creation, it's said in our understandings. And in our creation stories, hihiri is like what preceded the subconsciousness of the universe and then the consciousness of the universe. So it's pretty potent stuff. And in other contexts, hihiri is also used in language to indicate the spark of something. Something is ignited, something begins, something kicks off. So that's very important. And also in the word mahi, the little word he also references ihi, which is like your potent, it's like an energy that emanates from out of the person. You know, when you just feel some people, you go, oh, it makes you go, oh, that person's awesome. You know, it's like they've got a strong ihi, you know. A lot of this is to do with energy. You might be picking up. It's to do with energy, which is the basis of all reality. And also the word he references something else, the image of, I've said before, the peak of something, the peak of the mountain, which is symbolic for your ascending, your personal mountain, whatever that is. And Vav already talked about it. We're all going through our particular challenges, eh? When you hit the peak of the mountain, you've arrived. We don't really ever arrive, truly, because when you get to the top of the peak, you see another mountain range on the horizon. It's fractal. But in that moment, you have evolved higher. You know, the potential of you in that moment, you've ascended to that. But there's always another potential and another and another. So that's tihi, the peak of your maunga, of your mountain. And in the word mahi is this word ahi. Ahi means fire. All these concepts are in this one word, mahi. Ahi is fire. And of course, that is symbolic of your internal flame, whatever you imagine that to be. It could be your passion, it could be your momentum, your fuel, literally, you know, your own internal fire, which gets you through the times when sometimes doing your mahi, it can be, you know, tough. So you need something internal when everything external, it's just not working for you. So that's the lesson. Your drive comes from within. The universe is within. So you've got a lot of material to work with. It's awesome. So, you know, all these kinds of things, when I'm doing my mahi, you know, it brings to mind all these sorts of things. And of course, the word ma reminds us of the saying that our elders say, ma te wā. Often I sign off when I'm talking with my mates here in the Wombs of Peace circles. Oh, ma te wā. It's casually, it means later, later. But really, the deeper meaning is ma, clarity. Te wā, that means time. Wā is time. And in a different context, space. So time and space. And wā is also in the word wairua, which is our word for spirit or soul. So mā te wā means according to the wisdom of the soul. All in its good time. Who are we to use our egoic brain minds to intellectualize when is the best time? No. Let go. There's a higher wisdom that has it all sorted out for you. And in its good time, things will emerge. The opportunity will present itself, and then you can do the mahi when that all reveals. So what is success and victory in that context? You're letting go. You're doing the mahi, and you're using your intuition and your higher senses to guide you. When do I act? Excellent question. And the universe will ping back when you ask it. It takes a lot of patience. One of my biggest challenges is having patience and just, you know, letting the wairua show me the way. It's tough. So I'm going to end there, and I'm just going to see what comes. Another last final message. Oh boy, letting go. All right, here we go. What's this one? Oh, yes. Whanaungatanga, it's about relationships. Now, this is a picture of relationships between humans, but it's way more expansive than that. It's about your relationship to all sorts of things in your environment, your relationship internally with you, to the self with a capital S. And remembering your origin story, it's so powerful. We're all sparks of the divine. When we remember that as a belief system and you base everything on that foundational belief, your relationship is with the universe. So, victory. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you, Catherine. I started trying to capture the words and the fractures, but I got very few. So if you can put in the chat or maybe later in an email and we can share with our community in the next newsletter. But it was so rich, and thank you so much. And the relationships, as you were talking about, not only human, just like Vav was just describing in her story, how the nature outside, if we listen, can connect us back to ourselves with the nature inside. So thank you both for this. And Celine, I wonder where you will be taking us next.
Thank you so much. Ayen yanchun nanaykuna warmikuna ñawkakai Serenity. I am honored to be with you. Particularly today, I was visiting a Mapuche tribe the past week, and we were discussing about this topic. And also coming from my own culture, I want to invite you to this reflection, how we do conceive these concepts. Go for it or let it go. We call yananting, is our word for this yananting. The Quechua and the Andean cosmovision is based on the complementarity of the opposites. So all the opposites are complementing somehow to produce peace, to produce the result, to produce life. So based on that, if you want to go for something, you need to let go a lot of things. And particularly, if you don't let go the things that are old in terms of emotions, old emotions, repetitive thoughts, old thoughts, you cannot make room for a new opportunities, for learning, for living, for enjoying, for being happy. So in the Quechua culture, if you want to be happy, you need to let go. You need to let it go, all emotions. And as soon as you are happy, because it's life, you will be in a process of being unhappy, because it's the nature of life. You cannot hold one state forever and ever. You can be with serendipity and you can be calm down and you can be okay, but at the same time, somehow you are going to lose this. As soon as you let it go, your desire, you are ready to get a new desire. Or maybe not just the desire, but could be you achieve what you want. So the black and the white are complementary. The male, the female are complementary. The option to let something go and the option to go for something are equals, are in the same, exactly in the same space. And because our concept for time is non-linear, is in a spiral, as soon as you let go something, as soon as you lose it, you have the new opportunity to reach another level of your stage or something emotional you need, you desire, And this is the logic of how we do this. And there is a specific song to explain the yananting. Yananting is the Quechua word for this concept, the complementarity of the opposites. And how we embrace in peace, we are in certain way originating the lack of peace also, because it's dynamic and it's dialectic also. So I would like to share this song right now with you. First is a song. Cierto ricos jaija, cierto pasas jaija, águila guamancha, yay, águila guamancha, yay. Wikiña, wikiwan, sasa jaipita, águila guamancha, yay, águila guamancha, yay. So this song contains the word of Yananting and the meaning of how we animals and humans are complementary opposites. So the animals has what we don't have. The peace has something the war has not, and the war has something the peace do not. And the day contains in the interior of the night, it contains the seed of the new day. But the day contains itself the seed of the new night coming up. As well as you let something go, you are ready, empty, for receive something more else that you are waiting or you are aiming. So I want to invite with this question to all our friends and the ñañay, the turay, the sisterhood, as in English, the sisterhood who is accompanying us this afternoon. How much willing are you able to let certain things to let go from your soul, from your spirit, from your heart, to allow the new soul coming into yourself? This is just an invitation. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for listening.
Tupananchiskama, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And even when we were kind of carving what is the question that wants to come to the center of the circle, I only after we wrote it, I noticed we put go for it versus letting it go. And I was like, oh wow, even though we asked what is the relationship and is it a spectrum, like the first thing is to put them, in separately. And then I was like, can they go together? So this Yananti, is that how you say it? Yananti concept is, I feel, so precious, and that's what we are asking, requesting all of us to tap into that possibility that, we don't need to discern, am I hungry, am I nauseous? Like pregnancy suggests this crazy idea that they can actually reside in the same body at the same time. And when it happened to me at first, I was like, something's wrong. And then my body was like, no, something is very right. It's just something that you don't know. And then as I expanded more and more into that, a person that was never here before suddenly came into the world out of this crazy body that can contain different, the Yananti, which we all know, even if you are a different gender, you also were that other self in that bigger person. And now here we are, all of us. So thank all of the Yanantis who made it possible for each of us to let go and go for and be created and create all that you do, including this moment with us all. And with that, Diana, can you take us wherever you want to take us, please?
Thank you, Celine and Vav and Catherine and Yael. I love this word, Yananti, and I'm thinking of the Hebrew that has an expression. It's not one word, it's an expression, Achdut HaNigudim, which translates to the unity of polarities. So that's an expression as well, but I love Yananti. So I was smiling when you started telling Vav, telling a story, because there is a story that wanted to be told through me. So I want to tell you a story. So when I was for my 40th birthday, I was already living in the United States, and I had a dream of uniting people together that were from all the walks of my life in Israel, in the UK where I lived, and in the United States, in the Sinai Desert. It was already part of Egypt, and it was and is one of the most magnificent places on earth. I have a good friend who says this is where God loves most to live or to dwell. It's the coast of the Red Sea with reefs of amazing, colorful fish, and right there, mountains of sand in a high desert. So we were there for my 40th birthday. This was more than 20 some years ago. And people came that I invited from all over. So there were Palestinian and Israelis and Christians and Muslims and British. And one of my British friends is from South Africa but lives in London. And we were a little village of all manners of being human. There were couples and singles. There were children and adults. There were lesbians and gays and straights. There were, like I said, Muslims and Christians and Jews and non-religion. There was just all of us, and it was kind of a microcosm. We were going to be there for a week. Some of us were going to stay 10 days on the water, on the beach, with only palm trees and huts that we slept in. It was just magnificent. It was a piece of paradise. And about 3 days into it, a sandstorm broke. And it was intense. The sand was just intensely blowing, very high winds in your eyes. The only thing you could do is stand behind a tree or behind a hut or with your back to the wind, but it blew really severely. And I remember asking the person that was running the Bedouin resort, the person that owned the place, how long do they last? And he said, well, it can be up to a week. So we came here from all over the world. This is something that is so important for all of us to be here. This is it has the potentiality of ruining everything. So I went into meditation. We all took shelter as much as we could in the huts or in the shadow of trees or wherever we could. And I went to my waist in water. The wind was blowing, but not in my face. And I was in water to my waist, and I was praying, and I was asking, what can I offer? What can I offer in order to appease the storm and let it pass? And I heard a story that was pertaining to my own spiritual path. And then I was told that I should take one of the seashells from the front of my hut and offer it to the ocean, to the sea. It's not an ocean, the Red Sea is a sea. And I went to my hut, and over the days, every morning and evening and afternoon when I was walking on the beach, I collected seashells. And I had them in a spiral around the entry to my hut. And I closed my eyes and I put out my hand and I said, guide my hand to where I need to pick the right one to be the gift that I will offer the Red Sea. And my hand touched the shell, and I opened my eyes, and I was devastated because all of them were tiny little broken ones. This was the one big prized possession. It was big as my fist. It was beautiful. It was the one great thing that I was going to take home and show everyone from Sinai Desert. And here I'm asked to release it and let it go. So I ummed and ahed for a little bit there, but I knew with the umming and ahhing that I have to release it. I have to let it go. So I took it and I went back into the water, waist high, and I prayed again and I toasted it. And I came back out and I sat with my friends at the back of the hat. And it took about an hour, and the wind started getting lower and lower and lower and lower. And a few of us thought it's low enough that we can go for a walk on the beach. So a few of my friends, children and adults, went to the beach to take a walk away from where we were. And some of us stayed on the beach talking. And they went far. I remember looking and seeing them really far away. I would say at least a mile down the beach. And a while later, they started coming back. And Laila, then 8-year-old girl, the daughter of Marwan, my Palestinian friend, ran and ran to show me, Diana, look what I found. And she found my shell. She found the shell that I had let go. This was my prized possession that I was willing to let go with a lot of pain, but without question. And they went far away down the beach to find it. They weren't expecting it. They were she didn't know it's my shell. She was, I don't know why she called my name because there were other people there, but she wanted to show us, but she called me to show me first. And then I told the story because until that moment, I wasn't going to tell the story. I was going to just keep it private and have that be an offering for the sea and for the wind. But after she brought it back, I told everyone the story and she gifted it back to me. So that was a huge lesson in letting go and surrendering. So that is what I wanted to share with you today.
Beautiful. Thank you, Diana. Yeah, I have several stories that are coming about things that I also felt I need to let go of. Some did come back to me and some didn't. One thing that I love about the womb and about adventures, I guess, is that you don't get the happy end for sure, but it's a question. It's not always, if we want it bad enough, if we're going for it, it will come. Sometimes it will when we least expect it, and sometimes it won't, even when we least expect it. So thank you for all of those reminders. And I'm getting requests from our listeners to also share. So I want to be respectful of time and attention. And so I think we will close this core circle, core ripple. And then those who can and want to stay longer are welcome to do so. And we will create the second ripple of a sharing circle. Again, we are requesting to continue in the same manner of sharing. And we will close this first ripple with a closing blessing. Celine, are you still with us? Can you give us the closing blessing, please? I see she's off video. Might not be able to. Catherine, you opened. Can we ask you to close?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I love stories. They're so powerful, so powerful. Very underrated. We should tell stories more, get around circles, around a fire and tell stories. A closing. Oh, wow. I think I'll close by just asking for beauty and peace for everyone in our hearts from our Creator. That's always a good way to go, I find. So. Kia taunga mana ki tanga o te atua ki runga i a koe. Kia noho tōna rangi mari e, kei roto i a koe. Nā tōna tahua, kia whakamahana tōna kau. Ina e nei moa ke tonu atu. Ina e nei moa ke tonu atu. Ake, ake, ake. Tuturu whakamaua ki a tīna haumi e hui e tae ki e. Kia ora, everybody.
Kia ora. Thank you, Catherine. And we will give a few moments of silent nurturing through the chat box. Those who want to put something there silently and not open the mic. We are also suggesting that if you feel nourished by this and want and can nourish back and are looking for the link, then we have a donation link that you can support that work in that way, because we always make sure that our wisdom keepers are nourished back and not just giving energy, but also receiving. And you can, we'll have the link for the newsletter, so you can get invitations and updates about what we do. This is our little offering, and Michelle is putting it in the chat box. And now for 2 minutes, we will be receiving more offerings in the chat box, after which we will part with those who need to part, and those who want to stay and share in the next triple of the circle can do so. I can stay another hour. So silent offerings. Thank you. Thank you to our wisdom keepers. And thank you to all of you, all of us that have co-created this. And the encounter is a co-creation. And this first ripple was very beautiful and powerful. And so we will part with those who need to leave. We will stop the recording in the YouTube. And I'm inviting, thank you. And Michelle, if you can stop